What is it about the letters that really are conducive to churches focusing a great deal on them? I know you recently finished what I think is a wonderful commentary on Ephesians. It's not even out yet, but I had the privilege of reading it. So you've been living in one of the letters of the New Testament. What is it about the letters that are compelling to us?
Oh, I've got to live in the letter of letters. I love Ephesians. It's just been a great delight, line by line, verse by verse, to work through that great letter. That's a good question, George. What makes it so appealing with the letters? I think, as I reflect on that, the directness that the letters convey, I think people can read the letters and just feel like the apostle is speaking right to them, because we share a lot of the same passions and failures as people in antiquity. Temptations haven't changed a whole lot, and when we hear moral exhortation, it speaks directly to us in this way.
Is it fair to say that we are an extension of that church community in a sense? So we experience a lot of the dynamics in church that we find in the New Testament and those things being addressed.
I believe that's a very good point, because the letters convey what it's like to live as a Christian in church life, and so they address many of the same dynamics that way.
So we hear them as direct and addressing issues that we're concerned about.
Precisely, they directly reach into the kinds of things that we're concerned about, and they're the main kinds of literature that we have in the Bible that do that, because the Gospels are the story of Christ and the Passion. We get the story of the early church in Acts, we get Revelation, but it's the epistles that show us, here's what it's like to live in Christian community. Here's what it's like to live real life day to day as a believer. One other thing I should mention, and I think people find attractive about the letters, is the fact that they interpret the life and significance of Jesus. And so what is the meaning of Jesus' death on the cross, His resurrection, and the newness of life that we now have in Him? So the letters explain and unpack for us what the significance of Jesus was all about.
I think of a rich chapter like 1 Corinthians 15, which goes into great detail, actually addressing a situation in the church, but goes into great detail speaking about the resurrection. So Paul has a chance to really unpack that in a way that's not narrative, but it's an explanation. Is that what you mean?
That's precisely what I mean. And to add to that, we talk about resurrection, but the Bible in the letters, for instance, Ephesians and Colossians, speak of a resurrection with Christ. And Paul elaborates on our participation with Jesus, not only in His death, but in His resurrection. And he unpacks what that means for us in terms of giving us enablement and empower to live the kind of life that God calls us to live.